what's going on? So what I tried to explain to your friend, when I just pulled it to the side, anything that you do on city property, you have to receive a permit from the city hall.
Okay. Well, is that for commercial activity or what is this for?
That's just in general, just to set up out here and start painting, you have to receive a permit from city hall.
Is this a public space?
It is considered a public space, but you have anybody out here that's set up. You can record anybody out here that's set up. You have to get a permit from city hall.
What do you mean set up though? Because it's just like we have our stuff with us.
This is considered a setup. So anybody that's out here set up.
But it's my personal belongings.
Anybody out here that's set up on the sidewalk has to get a permit from city hall. Okay?
Just for having art in public?
Yes.
Just for having art in public?
You go over there by the Jackson Square and set up. But everybody out there has a permit.
Yeah, they get permits.
Exactly.
Yes, you're telling me the entire city. I was told that's the only place they tried to do that. That's interesting to me. Okay, well, we've heard you now. Here's the thing as we're understanding it. So just where the difference comes in.
No problem.
You're an officer, right? We're not just talking to like a private case. So you guys, like, you're a sworn officer, or are you like a community service officer? Are you sworn police officer?
I'm a police officer from the city of New Orleans.
You're sworn an oath to like uphold the constitutional rights of the citizens and all that kind of thing? Okay, so the First Amendment you're familiar with, right? Free speech. Do they not tell you guys that there's a difference between people expressing themselves and doing commercial activity or things like that? Does that ever come up?
Yeah.
So what do they say about that?
So what I'm telling you is, I received a call from my supervisor. Okay.
Okay.
Anytime you're set up on the sidewalk, you are to receive a permit from the city.
You already told me that though.
Okay,
but what I'm
that's
saying
all I'm
is,
gonna do.
are you guys not?
That's all I'm gonna say.
But I'm asking you, do you not have
Would you like
it?
to speak with somebody else?
I'd love to speak with somebody that knows the answer to my question because
Hold on.
there is a different. All right.
That is the right thing for him to do.
Yeah. No. Totally. Totally. So fucking endlessly
annoying. It's just, it never ends. You know, you hear what they're saying. Just because there's art in public that we have to have a permit. That's crazy. Anybody who wants to defend that isn't thinking reasonably, because this isn't about public health and safety. They're just saying de facto, if you're set up with art, it's a setup. And whether he's not right or not, whether his lieutenant comes down or the sergeant or whoever the fuck else is going to come down here and just give us the same line from the city, by the way. The cops don't make these laws, the city does. And the politicians that are in there supposed to be representing us, but meanwhile they sell out all our public spaces and do this kind of shit. You know, and I'm jumping ahead on assuming, you know, what the intent here is, but I've run into this so many times, excuse me for being a little cynical. You know, visual art and expression is also speech. It is our personal expression. It's our way to connect with each other. This is not personal expression and commercial activity. I don't know if he thinks this is commercial or what. He's just a setup. It's such a vague way to define things.
It's really hard to have patience at this point, you know? It's a different city, it's a different person, it's a different human, it's a different ordinance, but you know, it's all the same fucking bullshit. And, you know, I can just feel myself being annoyed. And I really wish I could just be Mr. Zen about all this on the fucking trillionth time, but it's just, it's so fundamentally unnecessary, and it's just so fucking up our ability to be around each other in any kind of healthy way.
What's up, man? He said the supervisor's on the way. Yeah, this is good practice, man. This is good practice.
I've had a lot of it, but it is. You know, what I'd rather do is just have a nice day out here, connect with people, and have art go out and play music and have a good fucking day rather than get shut down. So I'm willing to deal with all this crap, but it's really, I'd rather just have a fucking good day too. You wonder why no one's out here. You know, you look up and down this whole place, there's barely anybody out. Go to any city in this fucking country, by the way, and look up and down the streets and see how many street performers. You know, it's the term street performers. Well, we all know that. How many times do you actually go out and see them anymore? This term came from somewhere where we used to actually have them. And these public spaces have gotten so fucked up now and overregulated unnecessarily. And let's clarify, I'm not just saying it's my First Amendment right to go run around in the middle of the road or do whatever, but we're in the side of the easement where people can't even walk. There's posts, there's bike racks, there's trash cans. We're not blocking the sidewalk, even though sometimes they say you are anyway, whatever bullshit. And we're totally being reasonable. This is not a public health and safety issue. And according to courts in the past, at least, if they want to regulate free speech type things and say you can't do your free speech activity place, there needs to be a significant government interest, as they call it, which really just means public health and safety. It's supposed to be about protecting us. If you think that it's protecting us, that we need a permit to show pictures to people He's just saying if you have art out here, that's a setup. That is fucking craziness. And we cannot just go along with this and be like, well, the rules are rules get out of hand. Do you think the people that are making these rules really have our best interest at this point? Does anyone really fucking think that? Obviously not. We see it at the federal level in this insane presidential election, all this crap. But this is the local version of it, where all of our public space, here's why. It's fucking valuable. It's valuable. It's our public space. And you know, I used to sit and try to tell myself that in the best version of reality that I could muster, that it was just their ignorance and maybe cash grabbing that caused this because it was valuable. And I'm starting to wonder if that's even the only motive at this point, because this is such an effective way to keep us from having healthy engagement with each other than just fucking shopping. You know, not, you know, you can shop too, that's fine. But like, there's other ways to connect. And anybody who's followed what we've done for any amount of time, seen what this community canvas has done, it's been news to us. We've been shocked what having the community canvas out has done to be able to connect with people we'd probably never otherwise have a chance to talk with, and their ability to explore things. If you like to paint, it's fine. Just having a little issue with the local law enforcement. Unfortunately, as usual, you know, they're trying to tell you need a permit for everything these days, but you're welcome to paint. This must be the, all right, I'll take my, take it down a notch. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, all right, man. Hey, I'm Officer Doucette.
One more time, I didn't.
Officer Doucette?
Doucette.
Yes,
my
sir.
name's Alex.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Alex. This is your work?
Yeah, we're all here. This is this is our personal belongings. We're out here with our personal belongings.
It's nice, bro. It's nice.
So, well, everyone did this. This is the community canvas. This is people who are walking by out here. They just paint on that. This is stuff we've done.
Yeah, I see it, bro. It's nice.
Thanks.
So, the problem is, the DDD.
The D. I didn't quite hear what you said.
The DDD. The
DDD?
Downtown Development District.
Aha. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. They're the ones that are calling about you guys being out here with this, because this isn't allowed.
What isn't allowed?
To have artwork like this, or any kind of artwork without a permit.
Any kind of artwork.
Any kind of artwork without a permit.
Go ahead. I don't want to jump in. I'm good at that.
So let me tell you.
Yeah.
So it's not a problem with y'all being out here as long as you have the permit that's required. The city, that's just the way the city goes. And we don't want to. So the problem that I have is that I don't like to prevent someone from making their money. You know, especially when it's an honest living.
What about making a connection with humans too? We're not just out here to make money.
That's
That's the last thing that we're really out here for.
and-
People can leave it if they want to,
Yeah,
but that's not our primary function.
And even with that being said, I agree with you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because what I do is while I'm working, I like to interact with everyone. I like to talk to them. They get to know me. I get to know them.
100%.
And I think if the world did that, it'd be a better place.
I couldn't agree more.
You know, I have rules that I have to abide by. Some rules I don't like. Some rules I think suck. Some rules are necessary. Some rules I don't even know why they have them in place. But they're still rules.
Right.
Where are you guys from?
From Austin, Texas.
That's a good segue.
I'm
We're on the road right
I'm
now.
from Austin.
We're on the West Coast right now,
Okay.
but we're gonna be relocating, I think, soon. We might be moving a little closer to here. We like this place, you know. We've only been here for a few days. That's one of the many reasons. Really, not the most important one, which is that you really shouldn't have to ask permission for something that's already a right. That's a really basic point. And when they say you need a permit for this, they're saying I have to ask permission from the city to do something which is, according to the courts and the Constitution, a free speech activity, which the sidewalk is, as the courts say also, quote unquote, a traditional public forum. So us being on a sidewalk and expressing ourselves in a free speech manner as we're doing, and even making income from that, does not preclude our right to do that.
Right? I'm with you.
Okay? So can I just tag on a little bit here? Because I want to communicate this to the department. And I want to say, additionally, I really appreciate your demeanor.
Yes, sir.
You've helped me come down a little bit because this stuff really arouses a lot of emotions and passion in me. And I think that's okay, but that doesn't always help when I'm badgering people. So I'm going to try to keep it your level. I really appreciate the way you're approaching us and being like candid with your own thoughts.
Yes, sir.
Because these are really difficult situations. We have layers of laws. Obviously, you guys are beholden to the laws, and I understand that. I understand you don't write these laws. You don't have. That's not your department. So I am very much more frustrated with the city council bending themselves to the downtown development department, you say?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Downtown Development District.
Yeah, and it doesn't surprise me. And this is a private organization, I'm guessing, and they are in a sort of synthesis with the government. And this is what gets really slippery is when you have these private organizations become lobbying for public space things, because our public space is really valuable, and I think they like to have control over it more than at least they should be able to legally, as far as like stopping citizens from doing their basic rights as humans to be able to communicate with each other. And so, like, can I ask you, because I see a lot of music out here, do you view music playing differently than visual art?
So, music is a work of art. In my opinion.
It is.
Music is a work of art, and it's beautiful. But here's the situation. So, I'm not telling you guys what to do. I'm only giving you suggestions.
Okay.
And only letting you know that these are your options.
Okay. Okay.
The reason why things all the way off of this area is because this area that you guys are parking, you have your beautiful artwork displayed. It's empty, right? So it's like it's a perfect spot. If the rules that they set in place were not in place, then like the French market or the flea market, everything would be so cluttered, no one would have the opportunity to express what they have, to express their art.
Well, they can't express it at all now. Without a permit.
No. Right.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
There was a guy.
And I haven't seen that to be the case. That is a presumption about what might happen in the future. We could address that at which point that happened, I would say also. And say now there's an actual problem or a public health and safety issue, which I'm all for. See, you notice we put ourselves over in this easement where the poles are and where there's trash cans, so we didn't actually block the sidewalk.
Absolutely.
We set up in front of this business, which is being renovated because we're trying to be, it's like, so I'm conscious of things still having an element of like functionality for everyone. I'm not trying to just be, we do whatever we want.
Yeah.
That's not my position also. I just want you to, I'm amenable to certain amounts of regulation. I think that this would be more where I would say would be reasonable. The city can make rules, and they already have them about you can't block the sidewalk, right? If somebody's blocking the passageway, you already have an ordinance you could point to that you could address that issue, right? And if someone was doing any other crime, we'll basically say you have laws in place. Just that, by taking a picture, and we can take it down to a minimal level. We haven't gotten to music as if a different category yet, because I see a lot of street musicians. Do they all need permits too? They're all supposed to have permits too, just to play music. Now, does that happen just like, I don't even want to get into that. We'll get into the ordinance. These things get very complicated. I'm just trying to see if any different types of arts are viewed differently. It's like for any type of personal expression, they're basically saying to express yourself in public, you need a permit. Would you say?
I don't agree with it.
Yeah, I don't agree with it at all either, because that's totally unnecessary.
I didn't write it.
No, totally.
Right. And
You guys do swear an oath to uphold the constitutional rights of the citizens.
Absolutely.
So this is the part where all I would ask of you, and I don't even expect you to be polite, but you're polite, and that's really nice. So you're already making points with me as far as I'm concerned. That's really rude officers deal with me sometimes. But we're all people. And, as this gentleman's showing, you're doing a great job right now. I really appreciate, the way you're engaging with us. I mean, you happen to agree with us, too, so I guess I appreciate that. But
I'm a realist. I
hope this is interesting for people to see, because everybody just, they're all this or that or whatever. Laws, they don't even write these laws. A lot of times, this is not the only officer we've run into that's like, I don't agree with this law. That's the thing. So I just hope people see that, because, and not to be all defensive, whatever, it's just complicated. These things are complicated.
Last week, my first cousin, set up a table in the next block, and he was selling oils and a few paintings and keychains and different things, right? Mm-hmm. And I told him before he came out here, I said, go get your permit. He's like, I'm not getting no permit. I said, all right, go out. He came, he talked to us, and they gave him a fine, and they ended up taking him to jail. Because when he went to take his stuff, he started a big hoopla. So he went from just a summons what it could have been, being arrested. He confiscated his stuff, put it on the books. All the money that he put into it, it's going to be months before he can get it back. And all he had to do, like I told him, he get a summons. Now, my aunt, his mom, is calling me like, Daryl, you need to go help your cousin. I'm like, there's nothing that I can do. So, and the reason why I'm talking to you guys, because I do understand. I'm totally in the group. But once again, we have to follow and abide by. And I don't want you guys to be put in any type of unfortunate situation if you do run across a policeman, that's not as understandable.
Okay.
You know, and they're all over the country. I'm not just talking about us. I'm not just talking about New Orleans. All over the country.
We've run into laws like this before. It's not the first time.
Some of us are really understanding.
Yeah.
Where some of us are. Because we're human.
Totally.
We're human.
Yeah, 100%.
We're not robots. We're not computers. We're human.
That's 100%. I do 100% know what you mean, man.
So
What y'all do? Y'all do it my way?
I don't like to I bring.
So what y'all
I don't like to.
I passed by earlier and I saw it. So I like your house. So what y'all doing, y'all? Selling it or what y'all doing? Y'all just...
This is just kind of how we do it.
I'm so glad.
Right now, we're running into it.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm working on it. I've popped off more in the past. I'm like, let's try to, you know what I mean? I just be talking. I'm not, I'll never go violent.
Yeah, because sometimes you gotta make it
You know, because it just gets frustrating.
Yeah, so
It's a private organization created.
Yeah. So what you can do is go to City Hall and then...
Here, okay, a couple questions, I guess. If we decide to protest this ordinance at this point and stay here, well, here's the thing. Even though it's a separate point about I still shouldn't have to get a permit, we're only here for 2 more days, and for people traveling through, this is part of the problem with their permitting system. I don't know how much they have to pay for that permit. It probably goes for a whole year. It's really designed for people maybe more who live here. Well, this is an international city, and I would think the city would want to encourage culture from all over the world to be here and to have artists come from other places. And when you only come in for a few days, it's not really reasonable to go get a permit that costs a lot of money. Beside the point of even whether you should have to ask in the first place. But additionally, just so I can address your point, if you're saying maybe you should think about going getting a permit, we're going to be leaving in 2 days, and so it probably wouldn't make a lot of sense for us to do that anyway. I don't know how much it costs or how much time it would take to get approved, but I'm guessing in 2 days, we'd certainly have to shut down for today. And already we've had people here painting. We have nothing but, you have to, like, from my perspective, all day long, and I don't mean to say this like a brag, people are just like, this is awesome, it's so cool you do this is helping the community. And so here's my thing, I don't want to get arrested, I don't want to get taken in, I don't want to get detained, I don't want to get my stuff confiscated. If we stay here, is there, and I know you can't give me guarantees, but is there a likelihood that the first punishment for being in being in public with art without a permit would be like a ticket or a citation that we would then get a court date on?
That could be done, but the fact remains the same that if you issue that, you still have to pay. And if you didn't appear in court and nothing in court costs, which would be up to between $125 to $500 or somewhere in between, it makes no sense for that to happen when you could just go down there to City Hall, which is only about maybe 8 blocks away, and apply for the permit, and the permit is less than $100.
Would I get it within 2 days? Because I'm just going to be here
I'm not
for a short amount of time.
This is my partner.
How you doing? Johnny Brumfield. I'm Alex Skelton. This is Simon and Joff also. We're doing, we've been better.
What would happen? They apply for their permit, if they would get it, they would get it expedited, what have you. Permit, just like everything else, that's shown for the art and entertainment system, it would not get a permit to be here. There are no permits issued from the city along this Canal St corridor. There is a certain area that is designed and zoned for artists and entertainment. That area is led by the French Market, the Flea Market, and Jackson Square. That is where the permits will be issued for your talents here.
Oh, so they wouldn't even allow us here. Period.
That's why you don't see anybody else here.
Interesting. Well, I'm glad we clarified that because I was speculating and now we know for sure. Isn't that kind of sad? There's no art out here, Maybe the downtown development department thinks that's a great look, but I disagree with that personally. That's my opinion, though. Yeah, well, why are they running things? They're a private company, That's what frustrates me. That's tough, but it's tough because I just want to make note. We have publicly funded employees that are ostensibly here to keep us health and safety. That was a terrible sentence, but you know what I meant. And they're referencing this private organization that has come in and collected money and tried to represent businesses in the city council and done things to benefit them. I'm speculating again, we'll confirm that, we've run into this all over. And I just like to take note that they're sort of deferring to them, and that's a little troubling to me. And that's not on you guys, but I just think that's a troubling scenario. I wish you deferred to the Constitution and our rights as people, you know, and you guys upheld that. And when you had a law that came down, and this is just what I'd respectfully ask, did you take to whomever might be your superiors? I don't know, you guys both seem reasonable. I hope the whole department's like this, that'd be amazing. This is what I ask. Because you have sworn an oath to uphold the constitutional protections of the citizens of the country, and we are out here expressing ourselves, my personal artwork, this is facilitating people in the community, it's not even about selling things. So I think that applies to what they're saying. I don't know if it does or not. I haven't read these words, so I don't know them. But if there's a possibility for me to get a citation and not immediately handcuffed for being out with art, is that probably the protocol, or is there a likelihood they would just come take me away?
That is the last resort. We just want, we want civility and we want cooperation.
Well, because here's the thing, I would need a ticket to go take it to court and argue that was unjustifiably given in the ordinance they gave it to me. So I would actually need a ticket at that point. Unless I sued the city. I can sue the city, and I'd love to do that if we know any lawyers out there that are into the First Amendment. We'd sure love to talk to you. So like that's the thing. So until I sue the city with a lawyer, I need a ticket so I can say I've been aggrieved, and then I can defend myself in court and talk about how this law is completely overreaching, probably vague, and it's leaving a lot of discretion on the officer's shoulders, which I don't like that either. This is all tough. Well, you're not giving me straight answers totally. You're saying maybe I could get ticketed or whatever. So we're in really gray water here, and I think these things should be really clear, because equal protection under the law is supposed to be something that we also uphold. And when some people, because there's businesses with signs out on the sidewalk, and there's all kinds of shit. So they get left alone, maybe they have a permit or not, but this isn't about public health and safety at this point, which when they want to tell people they can't express themselves, it needs to be because there's a public health and safety reason. For instance, if we were set up in the middle of the roadway, I'd have a little tougher time defending that it's all right to do that, because clearly we could be a danger or something. Do you guys think we're a danger or a public health and safety threat in any way with what we're doing right now? Well, it should be for the government restricting our rights.
These are only rules that everyone follows, not some people. Right now, we're just asking you to express your talents and your wonderful gifts that you have.
And you're being very nice, and I appreciate that. I know you don't write these laws, by the way. I'm not upset at you personally. You're being super nice.
We're just trying to give you an area where you'll have more foot traffic and more people who are looking for this intentionally.
But this is where we want to be. Because we're going to play music out here later, too. We actually brought music out the other night and played. And see, this business behind us is shut down, so that didn't bother them. And this is actually a really good location. We were here the other night. All night, we didn't have any problems. And it wasn't a problem at all. We have that all documented as well, that we are all out here, no problem. People stopped, they loved it, they hoped we'd come back. So I have all that in the teeter-totter of my ride right now. And even though you're here being very cordial with me, you basically just want me to leave so you can go about your day. I understand. Here's my position. If I do that, I acquiesce to this law and it stays in place, and then everybody else who comes out here has the same thing go on. Whereas, if we protest this and we stay here, and we're able to receive a ticket, for instance, and we go into court and we talk about it, we have more of an opportunity to actually get the law changed. And certainly than I do if I just go get a permit and participate with this system. This system is bad. And I'm going to take that personal position. You don't have to agree with me. But this is an over-regulation.
Now for a second.
Okay.
So you want to be heard so the rules can be changed. I respect and understand that. I'm trying to prevent you from getting a $175 fine. If we have to write you a summons, then we have to take all of your property.
What's a summons? What would that mean? I don't know what that means.
You're saying a ticket is a summons.
If you have to write me a ticket, you have to take my property?
Yes.
Well, that's a new one. That's the first time you've mentioned that.
Right. So we're trying to prevent that. So to give you your way to speak what you want to do, all you have to do is go to City Hall and explain to them that you're here for 2 days, you need a art permit, and tell them they'll give you the location where you can go. Because this isn't it, Canal Street.
We want to be here.
Right,
I hear you though, but we do want to be here, and that is valid because because this is a public space. Like it is my right. Here's the thing. Let's just get really weird for a second, but not really. I can stand here, right? Can I stand here now?
Stand here now while holding that.
Yeah.
My
artwork.
As long as there's no money being transferred.
Okay, now see we're getting into something. Now it seems like we're interested in money something. You see how this is going
Once
on?
again, I don't write the rules.
Oh, I know, but it's interesting that suddenly when I oversimplified it, it became about money. And money is definitely not a public health and safety issue. It's a tax issue. If anything, if they're worried about that, I pay my tax.
So let me take devil's advocate. You have here art is free. Donations glad accept.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're about putting your art out there and it's free, then when people walk by, you can just take one and hand it to them.
They can do that. They can take
no.
one.
Get my point.
Okay.
Get my point.
Yeah.
I listen to you.
Okay.
You could easily just take one, and as people walk by, you can give them. If
I think
you
that's
want it,
obnoxious.
I'm just making a point. I'm playing devil's advocate.
But that's not how I want to express myself, so that's my response. Because I have a right to express myself how I want to express myself, as long as it's not harming someone or an actual crime. That's the thing.
That's
so if I want to express myself like this,
Right.
that's my right to do that in a free country, supposedly that we are, even though we don't know that's really, we're working on that part. You
So,
know what I mean? But
so-
it's my right to express myself how I want. Not that you say, well, if you put on this clown outfit and then go out, then you can dance. See, that's just why it becomes a problem. It's not, even though it's a clever attempt, it's not really a good argument for that reason. Because I get to express myself, because I like to be passive. I actually don't like to even bother people. And just let them be combined if they want. And if they want to leave money, that's okay. You know, because we have, I'm just going to grab, oh, you have it here. You have it here. So these are, and I just want to get these documented. This talks about how artwork just is free speech, which is less of an issue. This talks about how sale of artwork does not diminish the protection. And I'm just going to show you that we have it. We don't need to go deep.
That's
Just showing that the courts have talked about just because we already see money, and so the fact that they still are focusing on money is a real problem. So we just want to show that a little bit.
fine. So,
You know?
so what I need to do, I've explained everything to you. I need to pack your stuff up and go get your permit and then go over there where there's stuff for it.
Well, we might, here's the thing. We'll probably do that to see what the experience is, because I'd like to learn more. It's hard to think in the moment always, you know. There's a big part of me that wants to just hunker down now and make my point. And I think we maybe play a little long game strategy here instead of short game strategy today. So we might, for the time being, patch up. And we'll present a new moment of reality as it comes. I don't know what the future will hold. We'll go talk to them. We'll see how we had a big conversation. My name again is Alex. You're gonna get my full. There we go. Officer, that truly you have exhibited maybe as much patience as I've ever seen an officer, with just talking to us and being, even the fact you kind of agree. I really do appreciate that. And so I think maybe even extra, because you've been so cool for right now, just to get you guys go on your day. Maybe we can have a little round powwow table thing or whatever's going on between us, and we can talk about what we do next. Maybe we'll look up the ordinance. It really does sadly, and we will remember, under threat of arrest, because we get a citation, we will be arrested. So under threat of that, we are now packing up our personal expression, which is not otherwise positive content. I think we'll do that for the time being, and reconvene perhaps at a later date.
That'd be great. That'd be great. When you guys, if you guys decide to go there, I think it would be beneficial in more ways than you think. Because when I go walk and explain in this area where this is you can sell your artwork, people there look for art.
Yeah.
So
We did great out here, though.
Right.
Is the
I
thing.
understand.
We liked being out here, and our music's a little louder, and so this is a good spot to do it. So there's reasons we picked here that we wouldn't be as good there. So that's partly my response. We actually went down there, and these these lanyard artist people came over and were threatening to call cops on us, and we never did. But it was like a really sad situation. And that's what ends up happening too with these permits, is you end up getting people territorial over the public space, thinking they own it, and then people who are travelers and coming through. There's no demarcations. This doesn't say no free speech zone. This is a public space. This is a terrible law, and it is a violation of our rights. And I will see it taken off the fucking books if that's what it says, because this is beyond bananas. There's a strategy to doing that.
If someone would have if someone would have done what you're thinking about doing a while back, you and I would be having this discussion.
And thank you so much for recognizing that, because that's the thing. We got to nip this in the bud, as they say, or that branch just keeps growing, and we don't have anything left at a certain point. Next year, they don't even give you permits. They might not give us the permit for that. They might go, well, that's too large. Who fucking knows what they're doing? Sorry, I'm getting bashed again. You got.
Just
I'm gonna
check it out and see.
We're gonna go check it out. Now, where do we go again? One more time.
City Hall.
Okay, City Hall.
Yeah, it's literally. You can go down to the Albany, you turn, come back up, go
Okay.
red light, and go to the block south, you see City Hall on the right hand side.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll go take a little field trip and learn some stuff about New Orleans.
Dude, I would definitely do that.
We need to get a little more educated, know what we're dealing with.
I would definitely do that.
Okay.
You know, I think it's beautiful, and I agree with you. But I want you to be okay.
Yeah.
And I want you to be able to.
At least make an informed decision. That's how I'm looking at it. We might decide to protest it and come right back. I'll tell you right now. That very much might be what we decide is the strategy. But for right now, we're not going to do that because let's get educated. And like, you guys, as I said, I don't know if y'all heard it. I know you guys don't write these laws. Like, I'm not. I know you guys don't like sit and write these laws and come out of order. I'm not upset with you guys. The fact you're at least patient with us. We've had some officers come up and just be totally distant. Where I'm like, we are saying we're expressing ourselves. This is I don't give a shit. Whatever. You got 10 minutes, and like, you know, I've dealt with all. So thank you for being. And I don't want to keep you any longer because you actually do have more important things to do, certainly. And in as much as you guys do keep us safe from the problems of the world, I thank you for that. When that is the thing that you're doing with your job, we need people to do that. So thank you. I hope you have a safe day out there. So now we're gonna wrap it up and go learn some stuff. Beautiful. Let the sun go take a lap. All right.
Thank you.
We're going to wrap it up, go to City Hall, take a field trip, learn some things, and decide what to do next. And under threat of being arrested because we have to, or having our stuff confiscated because he has to write us a citation, that's what happens. I don't want that to happen. So under that threat, and this is a specific fucking thing, because if they weren't threatening that, I'd just take a ticket. But I'm not trying to have everything taken. We need to be other places to doing this. It's more important right now. So we're going to play the long game and go get educated more about shit that shouldn't even exist in the first place, and that's where we're at. So
okay. So to clarify, I didn't hear. I have to leave or get arrested. That's what's going on.
What happened?
I have to leave or get arrested. That's what's going on.
I'm not trying to arrest you.
Oh, I know, because I could still leave.
we didn't even pull this out. This is our federal budget this year. That's our defense spending. Isn't that a fun one?
Right.
Hopefully we have that out. That didn't even get out yet. Right. That's funny. It got messed up.
I didn't hear most of the conversation that y'all had. So could you?
He could tell you.
I know, but could you summarize for me so that I know for sure?
You need a permit to be able to sell your art.
Okay.
You're not. You're violating the law.
Or any actual violent
You're
crime. The city of New Orleans has decided that if you express yourself in public out here,
You're
they're gonna
violating
come
the
and confiscate all your
laws of
artwork. So this isn't
the
anything other than having artwork in
selling
public. I
artwork
just don't
in
know if
an
you realize
unpermitted
that.
Yes, I was there when you said that. I wasn't there when you said the next
part.
part.
It can be an arrestable offense
So is it right now an arrestable offense?
if I wanted to.
Okay, but I'm asking
But I
you for
choose
your.
not to. I'm telling you, if I wanted to.
Well, okay.
If I wanted to, but I choose not to.
What would make you want to? Us not leaving would make you want to arrest us?
If you refuse to take your stuff and leave with it.
Yeah. So the choices you're giving me are leave or get arrested. It's those two, and I can choose to leave and won't get arrested. Is what I'm saying. Is that correct?
What's correct is you have to be out here with a permit.
I mean
And
for
I've
this
explained-
situation.
I'm telling you, I can issue a summons and you have to spend the money to go to court with that. And if you didn't leave after I gave you the summons and you remained here, then you will be arrested.
Okay. Yes. So what I'm trying to figure
You
out.
could get a summons first, and if you don't leave, then you could be arrested.
Okay. So it's two steps. The summon comes first, and then we get arrested. If we don't leave. If we don't leave, that's okay. So my options are.
And I'm trying to prevent you guys from spending any unnecessary money for your voice to be heard, like I explained to him.
Let's go make a new situation of it and just come back and reset
Well,
it again. We can always
I know,
do that
but
if we want this.
I didn't hear the conversation, and I just want a summary. And I think the summary of what you've told me is that we can leave now and go to City Hall to get a permit, or you're going to arrest us. It's one of those two things, and we're choosing to leave so that you don't
I
arrest
didn't even
us.
hear the arrest part. I just heard he has to take our stuff with the summons.
Well, he said it's an arrestable offense, and he could arrest us if he wanted to. So
he
I
doesn't
asked you what.
But
would-
I don't want, and that's
He
what I
doesn't
told
want
you.
to. He's
I don't want to.
But if
I'm
we
trying
didn't
to
leave,
work with you.
then he would want to.
It's tough for him, man, because the thing is his badge at a certain point, he doesn't get it just exercise a personal opinion. He really shouldn't be. That's the problem with these vague laws, is they shouldn't just be arbitrarily making decisions. They should be a lot clearer than this. So
Yeah, I know.
in that
but
sense, I empathize with him. He's being really cool.
I empathize with you too.
Thank
But
you, I appreciate
if we
it.
do,
Yeah, dude, I've seen a lot of different.
when we show up
appreciate
when
it.
we show up in City Hall, we're gonna have to tell them that you're out here doing a job that you shouldn't be doing, and you shouldn't have to be doing this.
Let
So
them
we're
know.
we're,
Let them know
we're
your
fucking
opinion.
we're on your side too, because like your time is better spent doing other things, and we fucking recognize that.
Right. And I appreciate that. And once again, we don't want to inconvenience anyone. We want people to be able to make money and survive and live the American dream, right? The problem is that each city has their own laws, and here in New Orleans, this area where you guys are located is not a permittable area to sell your art.
So you would like your job better.
They've tried to just privatize the whole space. It's crazy.
You would like your job better if the rules were different, though, right? Is what you're saying?
I don't agree with all of the rules.
Okay, you would like it better if the ones that you didn't agree with were not there, right?
Well, this is all I was going to ask you.
We all have opinions on that.
Well, I want your opinion because we're about to go to City
He
Hall.
already said he didn't agree with it. He did over there. I mean, it's fine. He said, can I just add something real quick?
I'm making it clear that his job would be easier if the rules were better. So ultimately, we're on the same side,
Well,
and
yeah,
we're going to
for
express
him.
to them what
Certain
you want us to
rules,
express to them.
I'm not going to speak about
Yes, for
this
your sake.
specific rule. My thought are there are a bunch of different rules that to me makes no sense.
What are the
but
bad
that's
ones?
life in general.
Give us an
Yeah,
example.
but you
What are the
change the
bad
things.
ones?
Yeah, but we're going to
I'm
change the
not-
things that don't make sense. That's the thing. Well, that's on us because the laws get put in there because we've lost control of our government, and that's really obvious. Here's all I wanted to ask, like,
Yeah,
as far as when you go back to like your police officers meetings or whatever, as far as like, I don't know if there's going to be an incident report for this or whatever for you guys showing up, but like the fact that you do have traveling artists telling you, hey, we're out here just expressing ourselves. We're under the very clear knowledge that we're just in public expressing ourselves, and that's not a crime. I shouldn't have to ask permission for something that's already a right, that logic. Because since you guys do swear to uphold the oath, I would love to see the world where when you get handed an ordinance that says, if you see art in public, you go ticket and arrest them. You go, wait a second, that doesn't sound a lot like First Amendment protection to me. We're charged with upholding that, and you went to the DDD and said, what are you guys doing lobbying for unconstitutional laws? I know that almost sounds like a fantasy, but why couldn't that be the world we live in? Because you're actually supposed to be upholding these rights for us. And when you come out here and you're part of it, I know you're not going to in the moment just break the law over your knee. I'm well aware of that. But as far as the officers actually do, and this is a big hope, want to, at least these guys do, is the whole officers association, maybe not. But like these guys don't seem like they want to be doing this really, and like arresting artists and stuff like that. And I've met a lot of officers that they know that's not a violent crime. It's not what they want to be doing. It's not why they got into having the job in the first place. So like, I hope this comes up, is all I'm saying, in the meeting or whatever, that's like, you know, these ordinances where we got to go around and shoo artists off of public space, this really smells a little bit like it could be a lawsuit where we're getting handed something and we have a really bad look because some street artists come by and make a really example out of how far they've gone here because nobody else did it yet. And maybe we don't want to be involved in this. Maybe we should step back a little bit. Because in a couple of cities, we've actually had the officers step back and stop enforcing law for 8 months while the city cooked up a new, different bullshit one. But at least they changed some parts. And I know you guys also do have discretion to degree of how much these things are enforced. And so you don't have to enforce this right now either. You wouldn't have to. You wouldn't have to because you have officers' discretion. And I don't expect you to just exercise that. But you are charged with upholding these rights. So I just hope that since we've communicated this to you as hopefully respectful members of the community here, that point is taken validly. I hope you can see I'm not just making weird shit up. I've gotten unfortunately pretty educated about the legalities of these things, and this is overreach because this is not, unless you're saying we're causing a public health and safety issue, we should be able to express ourselves, the end. And anything more than that is an overreach of their government controls because they're supposed to just be keeping us safe, and that's it. Beyond that, we're supposed to be a free people. Supposed to be. So that's my little position there, but like, I just hope that comes up or something, because if you guys do not want this to keep happening, how often do you have to do this a lot with street artists?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
sad, because and think about that. That means there would be artists out here, and you think about, well, we just walked down the street and all there was shopping. Why wasn't there any artists? This is why. This is why. So this isn't just about us. The reason I enjoy doing this, I always liked going and seeing street performances when I was younger. Like when I go to New City, people juggling and doing stuff, that's fun. I always just enjoyed that. I feel honored that I get to be part of that now. We're often the only people in the city for blocks, and it's like crazy, and it's because of things like this. And you don't see it because they just come, they show up, we get packed away, and in 10 minutes when we're gone, the people walking by here, it's gonna be an empty sidewalk again, and no one will even know this happened, except maybe someone will watch this. But like, it's sad to me. That fucking breaks my heart. You know what's cool it would be? Not so full that it was causing some big disruption or people are pouring out in the streets. If that happens, now we can address that at that point. We're a long ways from that. So let's open it up a little bit. This is our public space. That's my little soapbox. Dude, I'm gonna keep wrapping it. I hope you pass this along to whoever's partly pushing back in the department.
I encourage you guys to go over there to the building.
Well, we will. We will.
And
We're
the
gonna talk to them.
same way you presented it to us, which we don't have any power to change it.
Yeah.
They do.
Well, within your department, because they do show up to those
They-
city council meetings and stuff, there are
Yeah.
departmental representatives of the city council, right? Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. So that whoever goes to city council and is a representative of the police department, can we have them bring this up, that this is an ongoing issue where you guys are telling artists to leave public spaces and you're getting a lot of pushback and it's a bad look and it doesn't really seem like it's really keeping anyone safe?
I'll make sure I mention it.
I really appreciate that, because
I'll make sure I do.
that's the least you guys, there is that little bit of like,
Yeah.
mic
Guys
time,
understand.
you know,
Right.
just that little bit. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys.
What's your name, brother?
Officer Doucette.
Officer Doucette.
Yes, sir.
My name
Darryl
is Simon.
Doucette.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, sir. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. camera.
Walk off.
All right, we're gonna go to City Hall with a camera in each of our pockets and just see what kind of nonsense they're peddling.
Should we do the bandit?
Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna need a walk after that. I'm really glad that he was so transparent that he was helping us, man. He was like, the way he was answering some of that shit. Just talking about, I'm like, at the end there, I don't think you heard, I asked, like, is this something you guys have to do a lot? Is that artists leave? He goes, yeah. And I go, yeah. And that's why you look out here and it's like this. I made my whole little fucking point, because it's like, you don't see it otherwise. You don't realize. You just go, well, what happened to culture? And there's a lot of contributing factors. I know this is just one, but like basic places for people to be. How many people, God, if we just came down here and documented.
Yeah, I just seen that was fucking with y'all. I be all around New Orleans. I can call a lot of police shit, you know what I'm saying? But whenever I see interactions, I usually just stop and try to see, like, make sure motherfuckers don't get hurt in the long run, you know what I'm saying? Me being black, it be so much shit going on, you know what I'm saying? But either way, that shit don't really matter. Just make sure anybody don't get hurt in the long run, you know what I'm saying? So I seen y'all had the interaction going on.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, what they fucking with him? He was just like, someone placed a call and said they was on the sidewalk drawing. Bro, I just seen, yo, on my mom.
What a call!
No! I just seen motherfuckers butt-ass naked with kids around walking up this street, bro. They would call on y'all for drawing, but not that shit. You get what I'm saying? So it's fucked up.
It is.
Yeah.
It
If
is.
it was me, I would have drawn on that motherfucking sidewalk, all kind of shit. So man, fuck them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Ain't no problem, bro.
What's your name, brother?
My name's Diamond, bro. Follow me on Instagram, Black Bastard, bro. BLAKKBASTRD, man.
Hell
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
brother.
Y'all
I
be
appreciate you,
safe,
man.
Thank you so much.
And thank you. Yeah, take care of yourself.
Hey, we'll be back.
Hey, I'm waiting
We'll
on
be
y'all.
back.
I'm waiting on y'all.
We're gonna go plot and scheme.
All right.
It looks like this is where they park their shit down here. This is the Downtown Development Department's headquarters, apparently, and it's sort of buried, I guess, inside this whole giant building. But it'd be interesting to go and talk to them too, find out exactly who these people are, how privately run they are. I'm assuming they are, but it is an assumption at this point. It's these private companies that are basically lobbying groups that take money from the businesses, like go represent them, and then they go get these laws passed on the business's behalf. For whatever reason, we'll leave some of the motives out of it, but these are usually private companies. In Boulder, Colorado, it was actually the parking department that was running the permitting system for the artists. It's like totally insane. It didn't have anything to do with the fucking government. They were just the parking company was like running artist shit. It was crazy. It's like not even, they shouldn't be doing it. They're like, oh, we'll do this for you. Oh, we'll take care of this. And so we were just gonna go see where their headquarters were, and it's just in this whole place somewhere, who knows? I don't see it labeled. But we saw their truck out here. So, you know, we got to figure out what's going on here. All these cities, even though there's a lot of patterns, they all do it a little bit differently. And until we go back out there and do a full protest, we want to sort of figure out exactly what we're dealing with, you know, for the right strategy. So these people are involved. And when you have police officers referencing these people as like who they're referencing, you know, that really concerns me. These private companies have more power than, you know, than our actual government and what it's supposed to be, at least, which is our own representatives representing us. You get these companies coming in and doing shit in our public space. So that's odd, and it's part of the equation here. So we're gonna keep going to City Hall. Here we go. How's it going? Pretty good, all things considered. I'll skip the details on that. What we were here to just talk about who we would talk to about artists getting permits for setting up art in public.
Okay, so that's how like the revenue department.
The revenue department.
Yeah, to get a permit for artists.
We just want to find out what's going on exactly.
They can give you information on that.
Yeah.
It won't hurt to try.
Yeah, well, we want to know. We were told to get a permit.
Okay,
So-
gotcha. So you just put the names through it, phone keys, any metal. So you're going to enter the hall to the left, 1W15. 1W15.
I think that's it.
All right.
Thank you.
Straight down and to the right.
Enter the hall, so we're going to get to your left.
Okay, thanks.
1W15.
W15?
Well, you know,
1W15. Thank you very much.
We got a handicap when it comes to computers like that. We got
Look at this place. Cashier window number 1. Cashier window number 2. Yeah, we sure do. We're wondering what is involved in the process of showing art in public here in New Orleans and what kind of permitting might be required for what we're doing. Drawings, paintings, we got canvas set up,
There's music.
music as well. Appreciate that. Oh, 3 chairs for us. Permitting?
Depends what you're trying to permit.
Exactly. Well, that's what sent us here. We were told that we should probably come talk to you about that.
Well, let's start here. I
Yeah.
think the best way is the end result and work our way back.
Okay.
All together?
Yep.
Y'all trying to do the same thing?
Yes.
Okay. All I ask, because usually I have to have these conversations with groups, is when I'm answering a question, let me answer the question before firing off 1,000 other questions.
Of course.
Okay. That said, what is it you're trying to do?
We have visual artwork and music that we play. We have a canvas that we set up and let people paint on. It's called the community canvas.
No. Music.
Did you say no? I didn't quite hear you.
Correct. Not just in the standard streets. If you play some music, right? As you can see, musicians around a French Quarter. There's not a permit for that. We're not trying to really enforce a permit for that for obvious reasons. Right?
What are those reasons? I don't know.
Well, if you're sitting on your stoop with a guitar, do you think you need a permit for that?
Okay. I wouldn't know.
Right. So what would distinguish somebody sitting outside their house just practicing guitar versus somebody performing? That line starts to get real thin, and I wouldn't want a permit to have to worry about that.
Okay.
Because the Quarter is a residential neighborhood.
Okay.
And that's why you wouldn't want. So you can perform so long as you're not super loud and amplified, blocking somebody's doorway to their business or home, blocking sidewalks that way at ADA standards so people can make their way through. No one's going to stop you from doing that.
When you say as long as you're not amplified.
Not amplified too loud. You're going to notice some people are amplified. I mean, a keyboard has to be amplified.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, I play electric guitar.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
But amplification's pretty wide variance. I don't know what all you're bringing out there. You know, I don't know if the 3 of y'all are a band or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so just pretend when you got the keyboard, well, that would obviously be amplified.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as it's not too loud.
What about it?
What is too loud? Just how do you define that?
Well, I mean, are you trying to get a decibel number?
I just don't know how you guys do it here. We're traveling through town, and so we were told by some officers that we should come talk to you.
Then, I mean, too loud is fairly relative, right? I mean, you kind of know when you're being a bit loud.
If anybody ever in the public comes up and says we're being too loud, then we do something about that. So that's kind of how we judge it. Like I've had some neighbors sometimes come down and be like, you know, it's getting a little late. I'm trying to sleep. We go, oh, we didn't realize you lived up there, whatever. Well, we just usually work with it if it seems to be an issue, but set up in where it doesn't seem like it'll be affecting
I
people.
will say this in this conversation.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hammer every detail like an attorney.
Keeps Chris from sending me somewhere else.
Just to let you know. But I will answer your question. Don't worry. I'm
just trying to get as clear as we can get. Whatever that might be.
So you know it's too loud. Everybody knows. You're in a neighborhood. I mean.
Well, we weren't in a neighborhood. We were on Canal Street actually the other night, and we played, and we were totally fine the whole
Well,
night.
I don't know what your past was. You're asking about what you want to do in the Quarter. So
Well, right.
that's what I'm answering.
I'm basing my assumption about human normalcy based on my experience on Earth doing this, and I'm saying usually when I have people go, "This is awesome. This sounds great," I go, "Well, that wouldn't be too loud then, because people are enjoying what we're doing." That's my witness. If people come up and go, "Hey, this is loud," I would go, "Oh, well, people think this is loud." I don't know what else to go on. So we just try to set up away from where we think it might be bothersome, and we generally don't ever have a problem with people coming and saying it's too loud, or if they do, then we usually tone it down or move. You know, so that's all I really go on. To me, what we're playing isn't too loud because I think it sounds good with the volume we're playing with it. But sometimes that can be subjective, right, to the individual.
Okay, so as long as you're not too loud, you can play in the Quarter. Nobody's going to stop you.
In the quarter? Do you just mean, is that the French Quarter? I'm not totally familiar with all this. Sorry, you'll have to forgive me. We're traveling
French
through.
Quarter,
So.
the quarters could be synonymous. It's just locals call it.
Okay. Is that around Bourbon Street?
All over the city, everybody calls it the quarter.
All over the city? Like,
you
where are
talked
the
about-
boundaries of the quarter? I just don't even know quite where the boundaries of that are.
Rampart Street
Okay.
to the river.
Okay.
Legally Iberville, but most people would consider Canal Street. But really, Iberville.
He was in there. There's a little part, we'll probably cut it in right here, that he's saying the French Quarter extends to, well, technically Iberville, but actually Canal Street. And there's a part in there, and we'll fucking slip that in here. And we're out here looking at this thing right outside this fucking place. It looks like the Canal Street Historic District technically is here, and so Iberville Street, as you can see here, is the edge of the French Quarter. So all that legal shit, I wonder if they're just going, yeah, but yeah, well, Canal's close enough because we also would like control over that. I don't know that, but that's kind of interesting. This is called the Canal Street Historic District, and that's actually what we were on earlier, not the French Quarter. So what are you saying? Are you just taking the law into your own hands now and going, well, let me just remake the map the way I'd like to see it? We're fucking human beings, man. This shit happens. This is why we got to be on these people. It'd be really lovely to just think they have our best interests in mind, but they get all kinds of fucking motives.
Legally Iberville, but most people would consider Canal Street. But really, Iberville. To Esplanade. And those are your four boundaries.
Okay. So we were on Canal Street earlier today.
Okay. So you stopped?
Yeah, some officers came out.
What happened? Let's talk about that.
Well, we were out there with some of our visual artwork that we've made. We also have a canvas that we bring out that everybody can paint on. It says community canvas, and we just kind of set it up. People who walk by can walk up and paint on it. I was playing the djembe at one point, but later this evening we were going to... The djembe is a hand drum. And then later this evening, after the shops there that, you know, we're outside of, were shut down the other night, we came out and we played, and we brought our band stuff out. And he has a drum set, and I play guitar, and he plays bass, and we played for a couple hours, and it was a good evening, and didn't have any issues at all. I mean, we were back there today, and then some officers came by and said the Downtown Development Department had called a complaint in on us and said that we were set up on Canal, and that we needed a permit, and we should come talk to you guys about doing that.
Bands on Canal are generally a no. Okay?
Bands on Canal.
Correct.
Okay, I didn't quite, sorry. What about the artwork we're doing? It seems like that's, you guys treat that a little differently.
Let's stick to one thing at a time first.
Okay.
You have multiple things you're trying to do. So
Oh, it's a real cornucopia. We
you.
got the defense budget. It's our federal defense budget. Is a pie chart. That's fun. That's how much we're wasting our money federally for defense, among other things. We bring that out and talk to people. It's kind of a little political sometimes too. You know? It's a real variety show.
Fair. So I'm gonna stick to music first because that's the thing that's gonna be the first thing that we're doing, right? So in terms of like somebody's gonna hear you.
Well, we weren't really playing music today when they came by. We had our art out. And that was more what we were doing. I had the djembe, but that wasn't what they were concerned with. It didn't seem like.
Let me answer your question about music first.
Okay.
And it's important.
Okay.
So Canal Street, no one's really wants bands on the couch. Too many people on it, too many businesses. It can be a hazard, right? Tripping hazard, what have you.
It could be. It could also not be. You could also probably set up there because it's pretty wide. It's actually why we.
Everything I'm saying, or we're going to have a conversation. Because everything I'm saying right now, you're accountable.
Oh, I just said it.
No, you are accountable.
I said it could also be.
I'm not holding court in this office.
I said it could also.
That's what I'm
I didn't say you were
holding
wrong.
court.
It could absolutely be a tripping hazard. It could also not be. Both those things can be true.
But the city has to operate on that. Let's take order.
Okay, I hear you.
Okay.
When you say things like okay, it kind of sounds like you want me to agree, and that's where I have a harder time doing that with some of those statements. So that's partly why I'm responding that way. If you want to just speak, I will. But if you say okay, I'm gonna.
If you continue to talk over, if you continue to interrupt me, I can end this conversation. I would be more than happy to explain to you everything that you need to know. But you're not letting me do that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was just trying to ask questions too. I thought that was part of a conversation. But go ahead. I'll just remain silent.
See you right back at it.
Is that a conversation? You just want to speak. You want me to be quiet, is what you're
Because
saying.
I know the rules.
Okay, I'll just be
I'm telling
quiet.
you how you can do the thing you want to do, which is why I started with what's the thing that you want to get done. And we'll start from your goal and make our way to the path to get to that goal. So you stated what your goal was to be able to play music and some art, right? That is the large goal of what you're trying to get done. With that in mind, I'm going to tell you how you can get that accomplished in the French Quarter, because that's where the musicians are generally cordoned off to. It's the French Quarter. Anywhere else in the city, you're really wasting your time. You don't have the same foot traffic. French Quarter is where all the action is at. All right. So you notice, I'm sure, if you walk through the quarter, that there are musicians that play in various areas of the French Quarter. Some amplified, some not, some vocals, some not, some just acoustic. No problem. First come, first serve for music, meaning that if you find a location and no one else is playing there, assuming again you're not blocking someone's business or home or blocking the sidewalk, you can play there. Or in the middle of the night, obviously they don't want people playing in the middle of the night. After 9 p.m. on weekends, I think they're toning it down to 8 p.m. now on weekdays. And about 9, maybe 10 o'clock on weekends. It's giving you a heads up when all the music stuff is supposed to basically stop. Will everybody stop? Probably not. But NOPD will start saying, hey, you need to pack up and move along. It's giving you a heads up, that's what will happen. All right. So, that said, you can do music, not a problem. You can't sell and do music, meaning like CDs or artwork and this sort of things. Now you're moving from performance into a retail sales arena, right? And those require permits. Now artists, another question I would ask, in terms of Baronne, you have Jackson Square, you have Pirates Alley. In the French Quarter, you can legally sell those two places if you have a permit for them. Now, right now, Jackson Square has a limit of 200 people that can be an artist for Jackson Square. That allotment's already been filled. There'll be a lottery March of next year for whatever spaces are available, because all Jackson Square artists have the month of January to renew. And then we subtract from 200, however many renewed, that's how many spaces we have available. We hold a lottery, so that way everybody's an equal shot, if that's the direction you want to go. Pirates Alley is open all year round. They don't have a limit on it, okay? So if you want to be artists and sell your art in French Quarter, you can do it at Pirates Alley. It costs $175.25. You fill out an application here to be notarized, sent to desk. It has to sit by law for 30 days. On day 31, you can get your permit, okay? And then you're a Pirates Alley artist. Now, if you're a Jackson Square or Pirates Alley artist, that's the activity that you can do right then and there, just the art. You would not be able to do any other activity like music or some fortune telling night. They can't do both. Right? Be an artist or a fortune teller. As far as other places around the city for art, though, there was a Louisiana Supreme Court decision that in certain parks that you would not need a permit and you could sell your art in those parks. Okay. A lot of the neutral grounds are considered parks. So under the Department of Parks and Parkways, just giving you a heads up to that. The French Quarter, though, you cannot just post up anywhere, because even in a decision from the Louisiana Supreme Court, because there were two locations that an artist could be permitted to sell, which would be Jackson Square and Pirates Alley, then the French Quarter location, that's cordoned off, but the Esplanade neutral ground, that's what I'm talking about, because it's the one, the neutral ground. Or median is what you would call a neutral ground. Okay. You can sell there without a permit, because it's technically outside the fence. Right. If you want to set your music up there, that kind of art on that neutral ground, God bless. I don't care. In the French Quarter, though, you can't, because it runs afoul of the Jackson Square Pirates Alley art thing. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, stop me.
I don't know where all those locations are. Is there a map where any of this is like delineated? Because it's kind of hard to know all that. I don't on me right now.
Everything. On Esplanade Avenue here, there's a neutral ground. What you would call a median, we call a neutral ground. You could do that there. It's technically you're outside the French Quarter. Right.
Does that then apply for the entire rest of the city too? So this is only all that you've been speaking of is just within, like, because you're saying Esplanade,
Most
but would it
people
be
that are trying to
around?
perform, they want to be in the French Quarter area because you've got a larger group of people and tourists that are there. Because if you're uptown, you're just going to be somebody's residential neighborhood. You know, there's not much going on. Most people want to be where the thick of things are, which is the French Quarter area. So.
But you're full up on Jackson, so you only have one option, which is this Pirate Lane. I also don't know where that is.
Pirates Alley, right behind Jackson's, the church.
Oh, so it's on the backside of Jackson Square.
Jackson Square is in front of the church, so between the church and the river.
Oh, okay.
And then Pirates Alley is behind the church. When you walk past the church, and you'll see if there's a gate. Okay, you can't miss it. It's the black fence that surrounds the back of the church. That's Pirates Alley.
But you're saying that we still need to pay $175 and wait 30 days.
If you're selling art there.
Well, what our sign says is art is free, donations gladly accepted.
No. Donations count for 501(c)(3).
Just curious how you guys define that.
Yeah, because a donation is for a nonprofit. So if you're registered, well, I'm letting you know. So if you're a registered nonprofit, sure, you can take donations, but if you're not a nonprofit, it's considered a sale, whether or not it was something that was given to you or not. Basically, the thing was, there was a money exchange for an item.
So would you tell people to just say, like, anything helps sign, and then they're taking, is that the same thing since they're taking donations?
Well, if anyone's selling anything in the French Quarter, it's my job.
You said taking donations or taking money. So I'm just using an example. Somebody says, like, anything helps, and they've got a cup out. Would you also, like, make them move, or is that okay?
Are you talking about as far as...
Just somebody that would be asking for money, just like, people who are just out asking for money, like, hey, anything helps, and they got a coin cup or whatever, and they're taking money.
Well, that's a different type of activity.
Well, you're taking donations.
Okay.
You said if we're taking donations, it counts as a sale.
You're talking about a tangible item, right?
Well, people can leave donations whether they take an art or not.
Okay.
That's the thing. We just have the art out. They can take it. They can not take it.
You want to litigate this here? I'm not doing it.
No, I'm just telling you what we're doing. No, I'm telling you what we're doing because you wanted to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm telling you specifically. If it's a little more complex than you used to, I apologize. We're a complicated organization of humans. We have a lot going on. We took our federal budget. We talk about other things. You guys got like those Seventh-day Adventists out there with their Bibles. People. These things. The waters do get very gray, and it's very interesting to see how you guys divide up and sort of say that I can do one aspect of my personal expression, but I can't do another aspect of my personal expression. It seems very stifling to being a human to me.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. I'm not trying to convince you of that. But as someone who runs this department, do you run this department?
No.
Okay.
Romy Samuel runs all of the Department of Finance.
What's their name?
Her name is Romy Samuel.
Romy Samuel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the department head for the Department of Finance. This is the Bureau of Revenue, which is under that department.
Yeah. The problem that we run into is you're traveling through town right now, amongst other things, and so having to wait 30 days isn't an option for us. And
if you're
for anyone
I gave you an option that was
on Esplanade. That would be, you're suggesting Esplanade, and we can do anything sort of.
Well, you can sell because of that Supreme Court lawsuit, right? So I told you I had a lawsuit that's actually beneficial to you.
Yeah.
Right.
There's been some progress, made in these things. Yeah. It's good. It is beneficial to me.
Okay, so you can go to Esplanade Avenue and you can sell.
A sensitive guy.
It's not sensitive, man.
No, you are.
I'm trying to
You're
help
ridiculous.
you. Yeah, I know.
You're ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's cool. I know this job probably sucks, and you got to take it out.
I know,
People
it's
actually
the
have a little bit of
worst.
shred
It's
of
the
freedom
worst.
left in their life.
Yeah.
I know, it's tough.
What
We're probably going to end up
is
suing the
not-
shit out of the city. So I hope you get ready for that, because this is totally beyond ridiculous.
Soon, okay.
Because to go out and tell people they can't express themselves.
And no one said that.
And
We
to
talked
sit
about
except for in
sales.
2 areas. And then on Canal Street, you have an entire public
Sales.
area. You have an entire...
Why are you coming in? You coming in from out of town and you're trying to tell me
Because this is
how
the United
we're doing
States of
business
America,
here.
and this is a fundamental constitutional issue about
And
free
I'm telling
expression
how
in
you
public.
can legally
And a
do
sidewalk,
the thing that you want
a sidewalk
to do.
is a traditional
and
public
you're
forum.
fighting me up.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's it.
because it's bullshit and
Then
it's
get
really
your
messing
attorney.
it up for
Get your
us.
attorney.
Well, we
That's
probably
fine.
will, because none of this is an option for us today.
I have no problem.
Because we wanted to be out on
That's
Canal
how a
Street.
nation of laws work.
It is.
You have a
It is,
legit
absolutely.
argument.
Yeah,
and
we
you have
do.
an attorney.
We do.
And you win that lawsuit.
Yeah,
God
well,
bless
that's
you.
probably what's happening, because this is insane, and I just hope that you think about, the ramifications of telling people that out of an entire area, public area like Canal Street, for instance, that the sidewalks are very wide and facilitating for vans to be there, in fact. That you would say no one can do anything here, period, because we've given you 2 areas of the city you can, and you either go there or not. Then you have people cramped into a small area together. You have musicians who are in competition for each other because now they're fighting over spaces and they're territorial. I've seen the ramifications of
Oh,
these permit
no, I've
systems.
seen it too.
Well, I'm glad that you can acknowledge I'm saying something relevant, because it's really a problem. And all I can do, because I know I'm not going to convince you of this, and this isn't a court that we're in right now, but on a human level, I hope you recognize that this is messing up the culture of being a human in New Orleans big time. And that you're extinguishing the possibility for people to come and travel through here. There's no signs posted. No one should be expected to know any of that. And you've got people just come and set up on any public sidewalk like a normal place. Except now you're saying you can't do any of that here. We're getting threatened with having our stuff confiscated by officers who, fortunately, those few officers were nice to us today. Sometimes they're not. It's very intimidating for people who, people who come here like to see street performers, maybe more than in just 2 areas of the city. And it's really shocking to me that this is always viewed as some competition with business, and that it always comes down to money. And that that's what this gets into.
No.
Well, that's what they started being worried about out there, was that, and about where we're selling things. It's an artist's right to sell their artwork too. That doesn't make it that we have less rights. I've got the court cases right here in my backpack laminated.
Okay, so you came for an argument.
No, I didn't. I came to educate you now, because you educated us.
Okay.
No, you educated us. Now I'm educating you a little bit. This says sale of artwork.
No,
does
we
not
came
diminish
here for
the
clarity,
protections.
and it's very vague.
And
This is messed up.
I'm trying to give you clarity. I'm
not saying we should be able to do whatever we want.
See, this
Okay.
is the thing. So
I'm not saying that.
I'm trying to
This is
address.
beyond.
Okay. So yeah.
Sorry, just when you have a second.
So I'm trying to answer your question, right? I'm trying to.
I think
give
you have, but I mean, I feel pretty clear about where the city of New Orleans wants to see us.
This is the cutoff I was telling you about in the beginning. We're having a conversation, we're
Yeah.
talking to somebody, and someone keeps interjecting.
Yeah, you're interrupting me when I'm speaking too. I hope you know that. That's kind of what a conversation is. We go back and forth. It's okay if I speak. You can have a little patience with me too. I'm a member of this community for the time being, and I appreciate some respect as well, as I've shown you, sir. Thank you. Because I'm not in here baselessly. I'm in here as an artist that was just pushed off the public sidewalk, where the entire community is going, this is really cool, you guys come out here. This is awesome. I hope you guys keep coming back. So while there's one of you standing here, in my head, I have a whole bunch of people that I've interacted with since I've been in New Orleans that love to see us out here. So I'm in here thinking about that as well, and not just your authoritarian words on paper, this is the way that it is thing, okay? There's a lot going on here beyond just you in this office.
Okay, my question is,
Hey, look, to let you know, I'm also a drummer.
yeah, no,
So I'm a musician myself.
man, yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm not.
There you go.
Okay, right on. Question is there a map that I could find of those ungoverned territories? Because you say Esplanade, but
Well, that's one that's in the French Quarter.
To me, or you talking to
I was talking to him. I had
okay, because he told me to come.
Okay, I want a map, is what I'm asking for. A map of those ungoverned territories. Does that exist?
It's not
Can I-
ungoverned. It's parks. That's what we
okay,
wanna
yes,
look
a
for.
map of the parks.
Well, just to let you know.
Does that exist, and can I find it?
I don't have any ready. Like we don't. This office doesn't have that.
Where-
But they're online. I mean, you could look at parks in the city of New Orleans. You can find them.
Okay.
Google
Is there
will
a-
answer that question.
is
It'll
the-
give you the map system, so you can look and see where it's at. That's why I brought up the neutral ground, because in the city of New Orleans, and in fairness, and that lawsuit actually started from an artist that was selling something in that neutral ground, right? So he won. So it's plain and simple that neutral ground will let you do that without a permit, and which is why I tell you that, because I wanted you to have an immediate option that you can go out and do something. Right.
I've been
That's still French Quarter adjacent. It's still a relevant spot because right there, you're in between where the French Quarter is on one side and the Baronne is on the other. So you've got a lot of foot traffic there. So if you want exposure to let you to do the thing you want to do, that's a great spot for it.
We've considered like many different parts of the city, and we've walked past that area, and I think I do know where you're talking about, but I would want to know where all of my other options were. So
parks.
If I go to this Supreme Court case, would that direct me to a map?
No. Well, actually, I don't know if it would.
Okay.
Because what I've seen of it has just been just a decision that was made. No links attached to that. It's just been a printout. Here's what the decision was.
Okay.
Right.
So
I don't want to commit to say no, but really what you want to look at is parks, because in the lawsuit itself, in the decision made by the Louisiana Supreme Court, parks were identified. So that's the great first place to start. Now, most parks, you can sell your art. I can't promise what they would do about music out there. I don't know. Because I'm being the agent for the French Quarter, it's my focus.
Right. So, the parks that we've been to that we enjoyed were we like Armstrong Park. That's a nice park. We like Jackson Square Park. There's a park by Frenchman's. Do you know about any of those three in particular?
Good. Jackson Square is in the French Quarter, and that's the one I was telling you about.
Okay. So is that a park that we can be in? Does that count as like one?
No, because it's in the French Quarter.
Okay, so it's parks
I mean, you
outside.
could be there as a citizen enjoying yourself.
Yes, but for an artwork act that doesn't
not the art, but like there are places like they're not going to let you set up and do any sort of that kind of activity inside that gate.
What about Armstrong Park? Because that's outside the French Quarter. Because it's north of Rampart.
I can't see where they'd have a problem with your art because, again, that lawsuit.
Okay, what about the music though?
The music part, I don't have an answer for you. Again, largely because my experience is mostly French Quarter and that immediate vicinity related. So maybe, but I will say you are in a high-end part of town, and it's wealthy people live there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. They may call the police. They may not. I don't really know. Again, have I heard of a band being kicked out of there? No. But I haven't seen too many bands go and play there. Just to let you know.
What would be stopping the bands from playing it?
The only thing I can think of is just that it's just really not that. Most people want to go to the French Quarter.
Okay, so there's just less people?
Yeah, that's exactly why. Because you have a high concentration of people there, high concentration of people with money to spend. You know, you're kind of in that entertainment zone where if you're in Audubon Park, you're in a residential area. So you're really dealing with more locals walking around, riding their bikes, kids playing, college kids from across the 2-lane road.
Could we set up our stuff in City Park, do you think?
City Park's run by the state.
Okay, so that's like a totally different authority? Or?
Yeah, because that's the state that runs that park. And I know it says City Park, but really it's a state park.
Right.
I would ask them, again, if it's a Louisiana Supreme Court decision, and the Louisiana Supreme Court decision talked about art as a state Supreme Court.
Okay. So
I don't know what they would have a problem with you selling art in City Park because I mean, state park, state Supreme Court, you know.
Yeah.
Now, will you have the foot traffic? Is the other thing that you're talking about. That I don't know. So I would definitely ask the City Park people.
So it would be a better place to start looking at state parks than like municipal parks?
I mean, municipal parks are fine, but you mentioned the City Park, but I'm letting you know the City Park is run by the state.
What category of park is Jackson Square? Is that so it's not a state
like
park?
A pedestrian park.
Okay, like legally though, like who is it? Is it the city?
It's a little bit city and state.
Okay, is it the county ever?
No, well, there's no counties in Louisiana, only parishes.
Okay, parishes. Right. I was born in Texas, so I don't understand.
Yeah, no worries. We're the only state that does that. If you look at City Park, City Park, I'm sorry, Jackson Square, and you're facing the church, right? Mm-hmm. This side, these apartments are run and owned by the state.
Okay.
This side, by the city.
Okay.
Okay. So to answer your question, literally a little bit of both.
Okay. And is there a map anywhere that says that, so that we know who to talk to?
Says
is there like a map of like which areas answer to which government? Like which
most things default to whatever local municipality there are.
How would we?
Because state law enforcement generally is for highways. Or things that are like drug enforcement, specialized task forces, right? But public service or public.
But also City
Park,
right? So
what?
But also City Park though. So it's highways. It's like state.
Well, City Park is owned by the state. It's managed by the state.
Yes.
Right? So, but let's get back to you being able to play music. So if you notice around Jackson Square, you've got different musicians. Now, mind you, you can't set up on Peter or St. Anne. It's between those buildings and the park. You just can't. That's a no-go zone. It's designated for artists that are registered for Jackson Square. And then once you get past their artist setup area, then you're now in the fire lane for those buildings. Right? That's going to prevent you from setting up music. Right? Now, if you notice, by the church, you can see different bands and they take turns with one another. Not everybody plays for them. And then you're going to see by Stanley, when you get out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He says Stanley. The guy usually sets up right there. And there's other people who set up right in front of the Cafe de Mall. And you've got some other people who go further down towards Esplanade. This is music I'm sticking with. And you'll see by the Gazebo restaurant, which is run, that's all part of that French Market Corporation because you're making your way to the actual French Market. And you'll see some other, like near some other little restaurants, you've got some guys that are set up, right? Just so long as, again, you're not so loud that people can't talk. You know when you're kind of loud. I mean, I'm a musician, you're a musician, you know when you're loud. So, those people have a problem. as long as not like pushing another band out, right? We're trying to intimidate. But in fairness, there might be times somebody that usually comes to that spot might try and intimidate you. Okay, that's also not uncommon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you think that's not uncommon? Maybe because there's a very limited amount of places we can do that. That's my point. That's part of the problems of this thing. I just hope I know you're kind of annoyed with me at this point, but like, I don't come here to like have a problem. To New Orleans in general, or up to here. But these things do have problems, and sort of sometimes the thing that's frustrating to us is when it just gets laid out like, well, you just have to understand this is the clearest, most sensible thing, except it really isn't, because there's all these problems that come out of it. Like, we get people who are musicians would otherwise be friends fighting with each other because there's only so many places the city has said this okay, and now they get territorial. When we were set up on that other sideways thing, the lanyard people that are the character artists came up and got all in our faces. One of the guys was screaming at us, he doesn't need this kind of shit, he comes out here to make money and all this. Yo, man, that would not be happening.
Where was that?
If we had plenty. It was on the side of the
St. Anne.
I guess that's that.
You were on St. Anne itself?
Yeah, and it was a real issue. And fortunately, it didn't turn violent, but it felt like it could have for a moment. And that is so absolutely unnecessary, and we have an abundance of space. And so it is reasonable that there's much more space in New Orleans than just what you guys have there, where you say 200 people are already full till next March. And then, you know, that is ridiculous.
Well, I mean,
this
you've only
is a
got
huge
88
city.
spaces on that entire fence.
Yeah, that's
So,
ridiculously
and that's one of the
inadequate.
No, it's not, because if you think about it, okay, you've got 200 people total with 88 total spaces, right? In one of the highest customer churn retail spaces in the entire southeastern United States.
My point is it's too small because you said it's full, right? It's full.
For
It's full.
Jackson Square?
Yeah, right, it's full, and that's the only place you can do it in the French Quarter other than the little Pirates Cove thing you were saying, right?
Pirates Isle is right behind it.
Okay, right, and those are the two places within the French Quarter that you said that we could do something,
That
but
you
it was
sell
still...
art.
Right, exactly. Okay, so I was listening.
In the French Quarter.
Right, so that is extremely inadequate, because those are two... As a percentage of the whole of the surface area of the French Quarter, what is that, 5%? 3%?
Then you would need to petition
2%?
City Council.
Well, I understand that, and that's probably what's going to be happening next. I just hope that, as you're annoyed with me here, that for presenting
It's
these
not that
things...
I'm annoyed,
I'm
it's
just letting you know,
just I
I
know
am
the
presenting something...
rules.
Well, I understand the rules, but I'm saying this is why these rules are really bad. And,
Correct,
that for what power you guys have here, and you're getting some feedback from the community today, because we just had officers come and treat us like criminals because we had art in public, in a public space, a traditional public forum, a public sidewalk where we were being not a problem at all, we were not blocking anything, and no one had complained other than the downtown development department with their, you know, surveillance and their yellow jack people. They come and call in on us. So that's why we came in here today, because we were sent here. Otherwise, we wouldn't have even come in here, and it wouldn't have been a problem at all, you know? And so it is an issue. When we go to the city council and talk to them, or the city government, what ordinance does this all fall under? Because that's one thing they didn't tell us. Is there like a city ordinance of public sidewalk use, whatever, that like we could reference?
With municode.com, which is a good resource, I recommend that you save that one in your phone. It stands for municipal code.
Yeah, but you don't know like the the ordinance that this is tied up with.
Well, I don't know every ordinance of the city.
No, but the one specifically for your department, the public sidewalk space ordinance.
Well, it's not just my department; it's also the Department of Public Works.
Okay, but so you don't know? I was just asking. If you don't know, it's okay.
Municode.com, you can find the municipal ordinances of every city in this country, right?
Okay.
That you can drill down and get the answer to your question. I don't know them off the top of my head.
But
that's a resource that's absolutely free to you.
Okay. Well, that will probably be one of our steps.
We're searching for Department of Finance on that website for the New Orleans. To find the municipal codes, we're looking for...
No. You just go to municode.com,
yes,
and it would ask you for a library. And I'm telling you, it's a path. And you look for library, and you'll see a map of the United States come up.
Yes.
You'll choose Louisiana, and then you'll drill down to New Orleans. And then you'll see the municipal codes, and the whole table of contents will pop up of all the municipal codes.
Which one is this in New Orleans? Which one?
Well, you've got multiple he threw at me. So you got the artists, which is 110. That's going to be your artist ordinances, okay? And itinerant vendors and mobile vendors, that's going to be chapter 110. Then you've got the taxation registration codes, which are chapter 150. But when you start getting into sidewalk uses, I don't know all those codes off the top of my head, just because, I mean, tax code's extensive enough, I don't know all the others. But will they be in that? Yes, they'll be in that. Where specifically, as far as what number, I don't know. It'll be outlined form, like you think of. You could read the table of contents. Like, okay, well, this looks like it's what I'm looking for.
Would you expect us to need to talk to anyone in a department other than the Department of Finance? For us to make our artwork?
No, like if you're doing things in the places that you can do it, you can just go like this. Again, I'm picking on the Esplanade just to give it a location.
Is that a park? I don't understand what that is. Is it
A
like
neutral ground in the city of New Orleans really is.
But is it? What does it look like? Is it a sidewalk, or what does it actually look like out there? It's a bit stretch of
Remember
green.
a median?
Yeah, I just don't.
No, that's the answer to your question.
So it's like in the middle of the road, like a median that runs down the center of the road.
Yeah, a median and a neutral ground is similar, are the same thing in New Orleans. A New Orleanian's going to call a median a neutral ground.
Okay.
Just letting you know.
Okay, I'm
You
trying-
hear that
that's why
over
I'm
and
a
over and
little
over
confused.
again.
Yeah, I was
That way
just-
you know median and neutral ground are the same thing.
Because we'll go check that spot out in the meantime, and if it's something that we can do within the meantime, I'm not trying to get arrested or cited, because the problem is I can't go get back to the court date. We're on the road, so I can't even get a ticket so I can have a court date. I can't show up to it.
But
You know?
like the art thing and everything, again, that's settled law until it gets challenged to the National Supreme
Yeah,
Court.
I
but
understand
don't
it.
think that's going to happen.
Well, wait for it, because this is ridiculous. You know,
Well,
it is way too far. If there was a regulation that said, hey, you can't block the sidewalks, we have to have points where people can pass through, the businesses have an easement, so you can't be outside in front of them, but beyond that, you're a free people, enjoy, it's your own public space. That's what this needs to look more like, because like for instance, on Canal Street, that would be amazing if there was artists out there. People would love that. It would bring people in. That's why I'm like, this is, like, I can't even believe how short sighted these business organizations. I know this isn't even your department. I'm a little bit venting, and thanks for saying hanging in there, because, you know, you could have left a while ago. But like this downtown development department, it's like they just look at us all like we're competition for the businesses, and it doesn't even make sense. It's like, that's, people enjoy that about being down there, and now you have an entire street where no one can do anything other than shop and have empty sidewalks. Like, that sucks. That is not like helping anyone. And I'm not trying to, I know you're not going to change the law because I say that. I'm just, truly, think about it yourself as you walk away and go, how out of their minds were these three guys? Because this is like a bad result
I have
that
this
is going on
conversation
out there.
probably every other month.
Okay, you have somebody that got told to come up here because they got hit with the cops and they were
No.
like, go get permit or whatever?
A version of y'all are in here
Okay.
all the time.
Constantly. Well,
That should be an
it shows
indicator.
how many people would be out there in the streets doing art, but that aren't, doesn't it? And isn't that kind of too bad? Because those aren't criminals. I mean, that's too bad to me.
I don't make these rules.
I know you don't, man. I know you don't.
But you're lumping that on.
Well, you're the representative of it at this moment,
Well,
so you kind
right,
of have to take
but-
that a little bit, because you are
Well,
representing it and defending it.
I understand.
So,
Well,
that's all.
I don't have to like the law. I just have to enforce it as written.
I understand that too.
And so that's why I'm trying to tell you first, or ask you first, what are you trying to do?
Yeah, I'm not like trying to sweet talk you so you
Well,
just
no,
get
no,
a
no,
special
no, no,
treatment
no,
or something.
that's
I get it.
not what
I'm not like, dude,
that's
I'm just,
not where I'm going with
I'm just trying to,
brother, listen to me.
it's tough when you see how bad this is in
That's why I wanted
actuality.
to find out what you wanted to do first.
Well, we do it all together. We do music, art, and political representation, and it all happens at once,
Political
and they're all very
representation, you do whatever
interconnected.
that's freedom of speech, political speech. That's the most
Yeah.
important protected.
What if I have a
speech.
donation bucket out for my political
You
speech?
wouldn't be the first.
Yeah, well, exactly, and so that's what we all are doing, and that's why these lines,
I
there
mean-
really isn't a line between any of this stuff. And
There-
to say between
okay.
art and music, there's supposed to be equal protection under the law,
So
and if I
you
want to
can go
express myself
to-
musically
You
or
can
visually,
go to Esplanade Avenue there and set up. You know, again, though,
we've covered that.
people
We
live
know.
up and down Esplanade, so bear in mind if you got amplification of how loud you're going to be. You've got a drum set, just be mindful. You know how that travels, especially with cymbals.
Yeah. We know where what worked is it's on Canal the other night, because we were out there all day and it was no problem at all. So I'd like to just go back there.
A question about Jackson Square. So you say we can do artwork for sale. So for Jackson Square, we can do artwork for sale. There's a permit that we can
In
get.
2024, Jackson Square, you're not going to be able to sell art.
But if the lottery thing that you were talking
That
about,
would be
Phil?
held in 25.
Okay, yes. So we can do that in 2025.
If we win the lottery.
Yes, yes. So in 2025. Well, I mean, if we.
It's so ridiculous. I'm sorry, this is so fucking
So,
convoluted. Fucking lotteries.
Do me a favor.
For the lottery
Just
system.
please refrain from profanity.
I'm sorry,
my
man.
question-
It's
my-
just too much sometimes.
So my question is that for the lottery system, I can't do fortune telling and selling artwork at the same time.
In the code,
Yeah, so I
so
couldn't.
it's in
I
the
couldn't.
law. It's in the law.
That's what
So,
the law says.
Not specifically fortune telling, but what it does say is that you can't do another activity outside of being the artist there, right? So you wouldn't be able to do music. You wouldn't be fortune telling is the most common.
What is the reason for this?
So by art, you mean visual art?
These laws were written before all of us were born.
Why are
I
they
don't know.
making us behave this way? That's just why it's so creepy. It's like, no, you will just be an artist and you will be a musician. No, screw that, man. We do multiple things. That's kind of like, you know what I mean? That's not very
So
real.
what you're saying is that the physical art that we're handing out is a different act than like the fortune telling. and we need to get a permit to do one of those, but not both.
Music is what they're making more different than the force selling in art. I think they get
The difference.
They worry about tangible items. Am I right? You worry about tangible items. I know. I've been through all this shit.
Can I answer his question?
Well, I'm helping you out because
Well,
I can see where he's confused. I was right about tangible items. That's what they're worried about, and they think because you're just making vibrations,
I want to hear from him.
that it's not art. Well,
So,
that's what it is.
if you're out sketching, right? Let's drill it down a little more, right? So if you're out sketching and this is just a thing you like to do, you do not need a permit for that. And I think that's important. You shouldn't. For all the obvious reasons, I think, right? It's when one goes to sell, that's where the lines get drawn. You see? So in Jackson Square, Pirates Alley, those two were designated spots for sale of art, unless you make an arrangement with a gallery or something like that. But the gallery is already designated to sell art. That's just an arrangement that you would have with them. Usually consignments, how galleries roll, right? Unless you rented your own place and opened your own gallery, which certainly you could do. God bless you if you do, right? But there you go. However, the Supreme Court has said, again, excluding the French Quarter, in parks, you can sell your art. And that's without a permit. So there's no fee to do it at all, right? And then God bless you. Go create it, and if people like it and buy it, God bless you. You know, as far as the music is concerned, right? Again, if you want to be in the French Quarter performing your music, God bless you. So long as you're within reasonable hours, right? Meaning you're not out all night, right? Your music's not so loud that it's disrupting everything around it, right? That you're not trying to intimidate another musician who might already be there to get their space, which, by the way, does happen, so just be mindful. People do it, sorry, some people suck. It's just the way it is. But that said, assuming that you get there first, right? You're not too loud, go for it. Play music. You know, if your music is politically based, fine. I'm not worried about your content.
You are though, because you're saying music and art are different things, and just because
Those
we
are
make
activities.
prints,
Content's different.
well, is it? I mean, that's getting real slippery. That's the thing. is
Content's telling you
when
what
you guys
can
give
and can't
more.
draw, can and can't write.
Well, you're saying you can play music without a permit in the French Quarter, but I can't have my artwork out and get income from it, but I can play music and get income from it, right? Because you can have a
I am
guitar case
saying
out
that
and
you
get
cannot
income.
sell art in the French Quarter.
But I can get
outside those
income
two areas.
by having a donations for a guitar playing in a guitar case, right?
you see
But if I have artwork in a guitar case and I get donations for it, that's not okay, right?
You cannot sell your art outside of those
Take
areas.
donations, and you said take donations means sell,
No.
right? So you're saying the same thing, there basically. I just want to get really clear that you're saying it's
Well,
okay if I play
you're
guitar.
conflating somebody giving you a donation for music versus a donation for a piece of art that they're walking away
Right,
with.
right. What's the
One
difference?
is a sale.
Why?
The other,
Why is there a
because
difference?
if they didn't own it,
Wait, so it's
so
a
that means
complete.
it was in your possession.
Excuse me?
It was in your possession, right? That piece of art.
No, it says art is free. It's for anyone's possession from the moment we walk out there.
But you created it first, right? So as long as it's in your person in proximity, right, that's yours.
It's available though. It's to be taken.
We're going in order of appearance. At first, it's yours, and then it leaves your possession into the possession of another person.
Okay.
And then money's involved.
Right. Now, what's the
Okay.
difference on a guitar string
That's
that I
the same.
first have an idea about a song and then I play the song and then it enters their eardrum and then they get enjoyment and they leave me a tip? What's the difference?
One is a tangible thing, the other is a performance.
Right, but don't they both personal expression?
One is a performance. Well, I mean, sure, but that's not what
Okay,
we're going with.
that is what we're going with because this is about First
Well,
Amendment
that's the
rights in
angle.
public.
That's your angle of approach here.
It
but
is.
That's
It is
not how
because
the city
this is
views
about.
it.
Well, that's a problem. The city doesn't view it that way. Is my point, and I'm just saying if they're
Then
giving
city council
people
is your solution.
Right.
there.
Well, I'm just trying to find out if you guys view it
One
differently.
is a performance. The other is a tangible piece of art.
Yeah, I think they're all performances. You know, that's
Sure.
the thing. You know,
Okay.
they're drawing a.
But at the end of the day,
that's what they say.
one is a
I get.
performance.
You're saying that's what they say.
an intangible. The
Yeah.
other is a tangible.
Yeah, but they're both personal expression. And so for
No,
me to be
you
able
see-
to express myself with visual art, it needs to be on something tangible if I'm a painter. Of course it does. The nature of music is its vibration.
And I've already told you
but that
when you
shouldn't
sell
give,
your art, but you don't
that
seem to be
shouldn't,
pleased
no,
with
but
that.
it's you, but I can't sell it anywhere in the French Quarter that
That's
I can
right.
also
Unless
play
you get-
music.
right.
But I can play music there. So that's
can play
interesting that
music.
musicians get special preference than visual artists, even though it is required that visual artists have something
One is a
tangible.
sale.
Well, that's your
Because
definition.
it undermines.
I understand that's your definition. It undermines what?
So, then why have a gallery at all?
We don't have their art and they don't have ours. It's different art. We're doing different things. They don't have what we're doing. We're not even in competition. It's a totally different thing.
Dude, you have every right to rent a space and do that.
So you're saying the main reason is because these places, I mean, there's live music venues that have music. You're not saying that about the musicians, that they're threatening the venues that have music. Isn't that a parallel? Wouldn't that be parallel too? I mean, what the point here is we shouldn't let the businesses have more rights to our public spaces so that they can keep them free of people doing things because it's competition to them, than that people just have a free society they can express themselves in. If we're getting to the point we're saying because businesses have artwork and we're worried about that you're competition to them,
you creating art,
that's a
no
problem.
one's saying you can't create art.
Having doubt for donations.
Selling it is different.
Okay.
What you're calling a donation is technically a sale.
But it is a donation
You
of
are
its
not
music.
a registered 501c3.
It's not a sale of its music.
You are again, it's a conflation going on.
I'm asking you.
But I'm right, and I'm parsing out the differences because they are different. Look, tax code is tedious. Code is tedious. It just is.
Unnecessarily so often. Yes. People get bored
wasn't
and
there when
they
it was
want to get
written.
control. No, I know you
But
weren't,
at the
man.
end of
I know
the
you didn't
day-
write these laws, by the way, but you are out here representing them. So that is why
And
you
I'm
gotta
letting
like
you know
feel
how you
this.
can do the thing within the confines of what you want to get done to maximize your exposure, to give you all
We
the
found it. It's
activities
Canal
that you
Street.
want.
We already found it. And we
Canal
can't do it
Street
there.
would not be considered, but,
Yeah,
but
you're saying we can't do it there.
Esplanades.
Do you think there's as much foot traffic on Esplanade as Canal?
At that spot, that's incredible.
The Esplanade has as much foot traffic as Canal Street.
If you're right there where Decatur Street meets up with Esplanade at
Okay.
Decatur, absolutely.
Okay, I'll be interested to see that. That would be
I'm
cool.
from here.
Okie dokie. So this is where we've been sent here, is Esplanade, and the far end there is completely fenced off. Not that there's really anyone hardly walking. We got one person down there. I thought this was something where there was like that sidewalk center thing, maybe down the road a little bit. Let's just go walk down here. Let's see if we can get a shot of a street sign too. Don't get killed. This entire fenced off, whatever. I was asking him, are you just sending us to an island in the middle of the roadway, or can people, he's like, oh no, people walk down. This is an island in the middle of the roadway. Where absolutely no one is out walking, by the way, compared to Canal Street. Oh yeah, you don't even really want to be on Canal. That's all, yeah, you know, that's just a little too much. Yeah, okay, thanks. There's your Esplanade Avenue sign. And then like over here, this is what they've sent us to. So we just wanted to come document for anyone who's just traveling in New Orleans. So I guess this is where absolutely no one comes and walks. This meridian between streets, exactly like what I asked if he was sending us to. Oh no, there's people who walk down it. Well, us now, because we're making an absurd point. I don't see anyone else out here. Yeah, wouldn't this really be a great place for us to connect with the community? We just come set up our art and our community campus out here. Super awesome. You gotta be kidding me. And then there's just houses all around here. It's like, you know, this is not where we would want to set up. We know where we should set up. We've been doing this a long time. Trust us. This is not where our band is gonna go. You guys are high. You're much higher than we are, which is impressive, but you managed to fucking do it.
So he plays piano. That's part of your character, dude. What? Where did that come from?
Alright, well, we're gonna take a little field trip tomorrow. Some stuff about New Orleans.
Dude, I would definitely do that.
We need to get a little more educated and know what we're dealing with.
I would definitely do that.
Okay.
I think it's beautiful, and no, I agree with you. But I want you to be okay.
Yeah.
I want you to be
At least make an informed decision. That's how I'm looking at it. We might decide to protest it and come right back.